I'm Sam from Wolf and Wing, and I wanted to make a little video to share with you about shyness and social anxiety. These are things that I've been working with a lot, particularly over this last year. So my social anxiety has been, it's funny, it's maybe if you talk to me in real life, you might not realise how bad I have it because I'm very good at covering it up. But what it means is that every time I talk to a person, even on the phone, even someone that I care about, with the exception of like a few, like a handful of people, I go into, or I have been going into, like this state of like extreme fight or flight. So I'll be talking and doing the things, but my heart will be racing. I will have a cold sweat. It's like on. And this kind of intense nervous energy behind it all. So it means that every time I interact with someone, the energetic price for me is quite high because I've basically gone into this extreme state of anxiety. I have this kind of big crash afterwards because I'm exhausted. So this year I set the intention that I would move beyond this way of being, and it's taken a lot of work, but I am getting there. And I wanted to share with you a couple of realizations that I had about where it came from, because I know that this is something that not only I struggle with, and there might be something in here to help you. So when I really dived into it, what I found was a lot of childhood memories around shyness. And I was quite a shy child, like a lot of us are. And I remember kind of like hiding behind my mom and finding meeting new people really difficult. I would be okay if it was someone that I'd met before, but new people, new grown-ups especially, I would find that hard. And what I came to realise was that I'd created some stories from those experiences that I am still living by, and I'm learning how not to live by them anymore. And one of them was that other people's comfort is more important than mine. So it was more important for me to not be shy and to not hide and to not make another person uncomfortable by being shy, than it was for me to do what I wanted to do, which was hide. Or what I really wanted to do was take my own time to kind of come out of the shy place and engage with the person. But what I internalized was this thing that, no, I mustn't do that. What I've got to do is make that other person more comfortable. So I went into kind of an overdrive state of that, really, of performing braveness, of performing chattiness, of often asking the other person a lot of questions, almost like an interview, kind of trying to like find out things about them and how I needed to be to make them feel comfortable and happy. Yay. So that was one thing. And then underneath that layer, I found this other layer, because once I'd kind of like discovered that layer, I was like, okay, well, maybe that's all I needed to know. Maybe I can just move on now. But there was still, even though I was feeling better, when I would come into like these social interactions, I would still feel this fear unconsciously. Like it's very, very deep. It's like it feels like an almost innate response. So I was like, what else is going on here? And my partner held some space for me as I kind of dug in and was like, what am I so afraid of? What is this terror? Where is it coming from? And I found it had this really interesting source. And it was that because no one had really been able to explain to me why it wasn't okay to be shy, I had internalized a big, big, scary story. And the scary story was that there was something so wrong with how I am naturally as a person that I had to not do it at all costs. I had to not be me. And because no one could say exactly why, because there is no good reason why, there's no good reason why children can't be shy and can't take time to warm up to people. It's just social etiquette, right? There's no reason. Like if you did the annoying child thing of but why, you just get down to because that's how we do it. You know, that's not what you do. You have to be polite. You have to not hide. You have to be brave. You have to make the other person feel comfortable. Or else, what? There is no or else. Otherwise, everyone just feels a bit uncomfortable. But because I didn't ask all the why questions, by the way, but because no one really gave me that reason, I kind of assumed it must be something really bad. Like I would die. Like it has, you know, that sounds like an exaggeration, but my inner child and my body act like that's true. It's like if I get found out for being me in some way, I might die. And obviously, generally, I have a lot of privilege, and so I'm probably not going to die by being who I am. There are aspects of me that I'm still learning and still feeling braver to uncover that can be challenging for other people. But in the most part, being me is quite a safe person to be. And obviously that isn't true for everyone. And I hope if you're watching this as someone who that isn't always true for, that you can kind of feel my compassion for you and hope that you can find the people where you can be yourself, and that at the very minimum you can create a safe space for yourself, with yourself, to be your full expression of your magicalness. But yeah, that was what, underneath all of it all, that was the story that was there for me, was that there is something fundamentally wrong with me. And if people see the real me, something really bad will happen. So I'm now in this process of shedding these stories and these layers, and over the course of this year, it's got a lot better. I haven't really seen that many people, so it's, I mean, the other thing for me was that lockdown and doing things online suits me in some ways. And actually, when I think about it, what lockdown has given me in that way was some space to figure this stuff out without having to see new people every day, or really have a lot of social interactions where I was being in that mode of trigger all the time. I guess maybe having that space is what's enabled me to get this more clear picture of what's going on. But yeah, so I'm working on this still. Strangely, I find making videos and even like doing a talk to a room full of people would be less scary than a one-to-one interaction. But it's all getting less scary, and I'm doing lots of emotional clearing. And when I went through my spiral practitioner training, I did a lot of clearing on this, and pretty much every time I take people through the spiral, I shed another level as well, because I love other people. I love talking to people, especially people that I'm helping through the spiral and in my other sessions and my design clients and stuff. And I need other people. I come alive in ways that I do not come alive on my own when I am interacting with other people. So I know that there are these like deep beneficial things to be gained from getting over my fears. But I wanted to share it with you because it's been a strange ride, and I think it's shown me a lot where we have wounds that are old, deep childhood ones, particularly ones around stuff that's maybe extra shadowy because it couldn't really be put into words or explained, maybe because it was nonsense, or maybe because there's like genuine scary stuff there that no one wants to put into words when you're small. that stuff can take time and energy to heal and to clear. And you go through this beautiful process of kind of bringing these things out of the darkness to the light so that you can see them and reintegrate them and heal them. And when it's something like that, when it's something where there's like a really deep physiological reaction, it's not always as easy as like a mindset change. It's a whole body shift change. It's a whole system shift that needs to happen. But it can happen. And it's getting easier all the time. And it's something that I'm committed to keeping on working on, because, you know, it's how I'm going to share my magic with the world, is through these beautiful moments of interaction and exchange. So yeah, I just wanted to share a bit of my story with you today and send you some love. I'd love to know your thoughts or reflections around shyness or social anxiety, and how you're getting on with bringing your full self to the party, expressing your full weirdness.